Welcome everybody to your Seven Square podcast and leadership tips. I got my main man with me, Mr. Corey Sigue. Corey, how's it going?
Oh man, we're all good today. Man, I'm really excited about this topic today, man. But I'm gonna keep y'all short on how my day's been going. But let's hop into it.
Let's hop right into it. So, Corey, you mentioned that leaders should have a vision, but not only just having a vision, owning a vision. Tell me what that means. What does that really mean what does that mean not only to have the vision, but to own the vision?
Yeah, so I'll start off with having a vision, right? And then a lot of people say, so they use that overarching phrase of like, oh, leaders should have a vision. But what does that mean? Having a vision means that you see, right? You can literally, physically see it in your mind. If not, you need to repeat that all over in your mind, right? You need to physically see what that ideal situation looks like for your team, your business, your company, whatever that may be, right? And this should be something that it's like people are probably going to meet you and say, nah, that don't sound right. I'm not really sure that that's about to happen, right? And I'll tell y'all a little about that bit about that in a little bit, just as far as like what I've gone through with it. But then actually owning it, right? It's no matter what goes on day to day, no matter what pops up, no matter what direction you're sent in, you still always revert back to this is the vision, right? Does it help or does it hurt the vision? If it hurts it, then be done with it. I'm not doing anything with it. Too many people have a vision. They claim, Tyrus, they had a vision.
Mhm.
Man, I got a vision. I'm about to do all these things. And then the minute something shiny comes through, they're like, no more vision. That's the vision. They're like, yep, the vision's over there, right? The money, the bag is over there. Oh, nope, that's not. Nope, the vision's over here. And so you really have to own it and say, okay, this is what it is. This is what it stands for. And everything you do from there, you pursue that vision.
I was working on an organization, Corey, that everybody's got a vision. And the vision's the same. That's the funny part. But nobody's owning the vision. So for all of these years, they've had the same vision. We should get to this level. We want to do this. We want to streamline our processes. We want to make sure we have procedures in place. We want to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. We can track it. I'm like, well, you've been thinking about this for so long. You're talking about it. Why is it not done? And the answer was because nobody's taking ownership. Nobody owns the vision. So as a leader, if you create a vision and you see that vision, actually, I'm gonna stop there because I want to ask you a question. If you don't own the vision, do you really even believe in it?
You don't. If you don't own the vision that you have, there's no. I'll put it to you this way, right? So we buy cars, we buy houses, we buy all this stuff, right? And just imagine doing it like this, like putting it this way. I'm still making payments on my car. So technically the bank still owns it. Therefore, I won't keep it up. I'm not going to change the oil. I'm just going to run it into the ground until when it breaks. And then I'm just going to sit in the debt, which debt inside of a company starts looking like turnover. It starts looking like unhappy, customers. It starts looking like profit loss. Like that's your debt that you're going into. And then you just say, you know what? I'll just get another car. And then you run that one into the ground. So that's really what it looks like in the real world.
That's good because I was talking and that just dawned on me. It's like, if you have a vision that you don't see through, you don't really own it. And in order to own that vision, it has to resonate with you. It has to be something that speaks to your core. I think a lot of times core leaders just set visions because they just want to have that milestone, those goals, and they want to sound good. And almost, and not all, but we live in a social media world. Let me put my big goals on social media so other folks can see it. They don't have any connection to that vision, nor do they want to do the work required. And I want you to talk about that a little bit. When you're owning the vision, the actual work that's required to get through the vision, most people don't do it. They like to feel it and the sound good and the passion around saying I got a vision. And Anthony Flynn said we got to get away from inspiration, motivation, information, and move to application. Most people
Say
won't.
that one more time.
Most people love to get inspiration. They love to get motivation. Of course, they love to get information, but then they stop right at application. So when you're talking about building a vision and creating a vision, you're inspired, you motivated, you get gassed up, you get information around the vision, but when it's time to really cut your teeth and do the work, the application, then where's the ownership happen? It falls away.
So look, and that was a perfect segue into like the scenario I wanted to give. And so I took over a new supervisor position. And this was like a few years ago. And a lot of I came in saying in this particular position, I said, based on what this position entails, and I'm about to help somebody right here, right now, you want to scale this to whatever piece that you're in. So right now I'm talking about just line leadership, supervision. I got a direct team, maybe 10, 15, 20 people, maybe 30, maybe more, reporting to you. And I said, based on the function of this job, I said, and just to give it to y'all in layman terms, I said, we're going to have the best customer service in the company. We're going to be consistently available, right? And availability directly impacted the productivity that you had in this position. And then we also had this thing where you kind of refer people to certain shops to get repairs done and all this stuff. And I said, we're going to offer the hell out of that program. And everything that we did at that point in time, and I'll tell you a funny story in a little bit, though. Everything we did at that time had something to do with excellent customer service, with being available, and then offering the hell out of that thing.
So
And
that
so, yeah, and it could be tiny vision, right? But I'm thinking my team is going to be the best in the company at that. Long story short, that's what happened. But I was met with, oh man, yeah, and I'm just telling some of my coworkers, oh man, big dog, I'm just, man, if you could just do it on like an average, we got graded from 1 to 5. If you could just be a 3, man, that's kind of really what we're shooting for, man. If you can just get to a 3, and I'm like, maybe top 3 in the company, maybe top 2, but not 2 in the company. But that's where your vision has, because people will test it, right? People will test the vision after you create it. And the other parts to it is we have so many metrics within that department or that position. And within that, people will say, well, why don't you focus so much on this? Not part of the vision. Why don't you do this? Not part of the vision. And you will have managers every single day would come to me and say, hey, do you make sure your time's input? Make sure that this is done. Make sure that this person does this. Make sure that this person does that. And it was like a miniature fire that happened every single day within the department. And it was like, Corey, make sure that this is done. And it wasn't even specifically just to me. It was like, as a department, hey, we need to focus in on this. Hey, we need to focus in on that. What typically happens is your leadership group goes back and says, y'all, we need to do this today. Meanwhile, I walk back to my section and they'd be like, how'd your meeting go? And I was like, pretty good. And they'd be like, what you got for us today? Keep doing what you're doing. Because that's the vision. If it doesn't have anything to do with my vision, I don't want any part of it. And so what ended up happening, I told y'all already, became one of the top teams in the country. We were always consistently, Tyra, shooting for 1, 2 in that company for customer service. We had the highest productivity in that department, right? We had, and they used to give us these little certificates and stuff, whatever. Always number 1 for offering that program. People started asking me from different offices, man, what are you doing to offer it? And so that's the part where you start to say you cut the teeth, right? And I know I've been talking for a little bit, but I'm about to help somebody figure out how to do it. This is the part where you start cutting your teeth, because we can talk about, man, I'm gonna be number 1. That's great. But you want to then take the action. How do we give good customer service? I want to physically hear you on what you sound like with customers. I want to identify in different aspects of the call what could be a detriment to the customer. What don't you do well with the customer? What don't you explain the right way to the customer? That way it's a friction point with that person. And we're going to practice and practice and practice and practice. And then at a certain point, I know you can do this with your eyes closed. You got the confidence behind you because you know what to say. You feel comfortable on the phone talking to people. At that point, I just got to hold you accountable. And what happens is other people on the team, they start holding them accountable too. And they say, hey, that's not how we're supposed to sound. That's not what we do here. But you got to be able to do that. When we talked about productivity, we used to track how much time people stayed in what they call wrap. We track how much time they would spend in between working certain things. And people would say, man, I ain't heard you over there in a second. I ain't heard you take a call in a second. And it's that type of stuff to where it's like, I'm not beating anybody over the head. I'm getting them excited. I'm getting them empowered to be able to take that next call, to be able to handle the next customer, to be able to handle the next piece of work that's been given to them. I'm able to help them get to that point to where they're like, you know what? Getting back on the phone is really not that bad, right? Doing my work quick's really not that bad, right? Handling these situations it really isn't that bad. But I had to get in there and help them understand how to explain stuff, right? Some of y'all out there, y'all are outside salesmen, barring COVID or whatever. Are you even teaching your people, right? And you say, man, we would just want to give you a great experience. Some of y'all don't even know how to shake hands. Do you even teach your people, shake your hands, get in here in this right here, get in there and shake the person's hand with a firm handshake with confidence, right? And so that's what I mean by, and when you said cutting your teeth, are you getting in there actually showing people? It's a big misconception in leadership at this point that people are coaching, which people are not coaching, they're telling. And you can only tell somebody to do something so much until, I guess, at a certain point, naturally, they're just going to get better at it because you fuss at them so much. But the piece is, are you practicing with them? Are you in the trenches teaching them how to do what you're saying you want to do, what that vision looks like?
Ooh, you brought the fire on that one, Corey. The heat. You went all the way in. You said you was going to go in on this one. And you went in on this one. So what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to recap and then we're going to get you out of here. So talking about owning the vision versus just seeing the vision, just saying the vision, just speaking the vision. You got to own the vision. How do you own the vision? First, get connected with it. It's got to be real. We ain't doing social media visions. Have something that resonates with you. Why? Corey had a specific vision. And I love it, Corey, because you broke it down to something simple. You didn't talk about in the next 25 years, we're going to be X, Y, and Z doing this. You said right now, we're going to work on customer service. Right now, we're going to focus on this. So what is that thing that you can create, that small, tiny vision, and then focus wholehearted on that? Because if you can't do a mini vision, you won't own a major, large vision or a huge vision. So once you create your vision, cut your teeth. You got to do the work. You got to move from inspiration, motivation, information to application. And Corey walked all the way through how you can begin to, whatever industry you're in, whatever business you're in, create that vision that you can own and step your way through it. And then you get the buy-in from your team. Your team not doing the vision because you're not doing the vision. You can only, Corey said it, tell somebody something so many times before they look at you and say, well, you ain't doing that. You ain't lined up with the vision. You chasing everything. You got 10 rabbits and you trying to just catch one. Stick with one vision. Walk it through. Hey, and we can go to the word on them. Write the vision and make it plain. Write it, clarify it, make it plain, get an understanding, do the work, and you will grow. Any last words, Mr. Corey?
No, that's it. I think you brought us home on that one.
Hey, pass that offering collection plate around. Drop it, Cash App. We're going to start putting the Cash App up here.
Right, we got to put the Cash App at the bottom.
All right, we'll catch y'all next time. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the 7 Square Podcast Leadership Tips Edition with Corey Sigue, and we'll see you next time.